Here in this video we will explore a dark theme in science fiction, one which is rarely ventured into, but it still comes up every now and then. Here aliens and others appear as a more powerful force, much more powerful in that they actually treat humans as livestock, as food sources or even resources for their decadent lifestyles. So here are 10 dark times humans are farmed by aliens in sci-fi. Let's get to it. We begin with the War of the Worlds. The War of the Worlds is one of the earliest and most famous alien invasion stories ever, created by H.G. Wells back in 1897. It follows a narrator in England as strange objects fall from the sky and turn out to be machines sent from Mars. Soon terrifying Martians on tripod fighting machines come out and begin attacking humans with powerful weapons like heat rays and poisonous gas. What makes the story really interesting is how the Martians treat humans. They don't see people as intelligent beings at all. They see them more as animals. Later in the story, the narrator tells us that the Martians are actually using humans as a food source, as they feed on the blood like mosquitoes. The reason the Martians invade Earth is because their own planet is dying. Mars is becoming cold and unlivable, so they come to Earth because it has water, life, and better conditions. Instead of trying to live peacefully, they decide to take over and use everything, including humans, for their own needs. In the end, the Martians are not defeated by weapons or human strength. Instead, they die because of tiny bacteria of the Earth that their bodies cannot handle. So the moral of the story is that you don't eat junk food. So anyway, moving on, we come to Science. In the movie Science by M. Night Shyamalan, the aliens quietly invade Earth without a huge obvious war. Instead of big explosions or battles, they mostly stay hidden, using their camouflage ability to blend into their surroundings. They move quickly, climb easily, and they seem to be way stronger, physically stronger than humans. The wrist spikes can release poisonous gases, which shows they are dangerous even without advanced weapons. Their ships float in the sky, often invisible, showing they have advanced technology, very advanced, like cloaking and space travel. However, they are not conquerors or colonizers. Instead, they sneak around and seem to be collecting humans. The movie hints that they may be taking people for some kind of use, possibly as food or for experiments, though it is never really fully explained. There was a theory that was set in the movie, and that is these aliens regularly come for such collections when the harvest is ripe. But if their regular collecting group is defeated, they would return in 1,000 years in full force, and at that time, humanity would be harvested once and for all and be wiped out. Okay, so now the next example here is from the 1960s. Here we come to a TV series called The Twilight Zone, an anthology. So The Twilight Zone episode To Serve Man, which is actually based on a short story of the same name by Damon Knight in 1950, tells of a creepy story that starts off being hopeful but turns very dark. At first, a group of tall aliens called the Canamids arrive on Earth and they say they want to help humanity. They later share amazing technology that solves big problems like hunger, energy shortages, and war. Life on Earth quickly becomes peaceful and easy, almost like a perfect world, a utopia. People begin to trust the aliens more and more, especially after a book they leave behind is translated with the title called To Serve Man, which sounds like they are here to help. But something strange is going on. The Canamids start inviting humans to visit their home planet, which they describe as a paradise. Many people happily volunteer to go, thinking they are going somewhere wonderful. However, one scientist keeps working on translating the alien book more carefully, and at the last moment, she discovers the truth. The book isn't really about helping humans at all. To serve humans is actually, to serve us as food. It's actually a cookbook. That's the big twist. The aliens aren't here or weren't there to save humanity at all. They were there to farm and eat humans. The episode ends on a dark note, showing that by the time people realize the truth, it's already too late. Now, number 4. Man After Man. The Travelers from the Stars from Man After Man, which is a speculative evolution book by Dougal Dixon, are a really interesting twist on the usual alien invasion idea, because they're not really actually aliens at all. They're future humans who have evolved in another planet, and they have come back to Earth, but they don't even recognize Earth as their original home anymore. Over millions of years, they've become a powerful spacefaring species that travels from planet to planet using advanced science and genetic engineering to survive in different environments. When they arrive on Earth again, they treat it as just any other planet. They built massive cities across land and oceans. They changed the atmosphere and even modified living creatures which are post-humans here to serve them. Some of the post-humans of Earth were re-engineered by them into living food sources, and they are termed as food creatures. Some are made into gigantic engineered pack animals for labor and transporting goods and resources from A to B, while another called the engineered workers were farmed and bred for work to actually work as a slave force for, operating the small machinery like slaves and robots. So now number 5, Jupiter Ascending. This is a sci-fi story and also a movie adaptation about a normal girl called Jupiter Jones who finds out she is actually a very important figure in a huge space empire. At first she just lives a simple life on Earth, cleaning houses and struggling to get by. But everything changes when a space soldier called Kane Wise shows up and tells her that her DNA matches that of alien royalty. That means she is the rightful owner of Earth, something she never really imagined. How would you imagine that? The movie reveals a really wild idea. Humans here weren't a species that evolved naturally on the planet. Powerful alien families like the House of Abrasags actually seeded life on many planets like Earth a long time back. They basically plan life and then wait millions or even billions of years for it to evolve. Once a population becomes large and advanced enough, they harvest it. It doesn't mean farming like crops in a field. It actually means wiping out all people and turning their bodies into a special fluid, a special serum. This liquid is a youth serum that lets the aliens here, like the Abrasax family, to stay young and live for a very long time, almost forever. Another wild and dark idea comes from the BBC series called Toddwood. So Toddwood, the Children of Earth, is a dark sci-fi story about what happens when aliens come to Earth with a shocking demand. One day all the children of the world suddenly stop moving and start speaking the same message all at once. They act as messengers for an alien race called the 456, who say they have returned and want something from humanity. It turns out that this isn't really the first time the 456 have come to Earth. Back in the year 1965, the government secretly gave them a small group of children in exchange for a cure to a deadly disease, which actually saved millions of lives. Now the aliens are back asking for way more, 10% of all the children on Earth. The government starts to panic and even plans to give up certain groups of kids to save the rest of humanity, while hiding the truth from everyone. Toddwood Institute fights against this plan, trying to protect the children and expose the truth. The really creepy part is that the aliens want the children, and they don't really want the children to eat. Instead, they use them almost like a drug source. The kids produce certain chemicals in their bodies when they're at a certain age or below a certain age, and the aliens take them to use those chemicals to get high and to feel pleasure. So in a way, it's like a form of farming but not for meat. Instead, the children are being used as a culture medium for a drug. Alright, so moving on, we come to Under the Skin, which is a novel that tells a strange and disturbing story about an alien named Izzy who lives on Earth disguised as a human woman. She drives around the highways in Scotland, especially the A9 road, picking up male hitchhikers. But instead of helping them, she drugs them and takes them to a hidden farm run by aliens like her. There, the humans, who the aliens call Vodsels, meaning food, are kept, altered, and fattened so they can be turned into meat. On Izzy's home planet, real food is very rare. So there on that alien world, human meat is seen as a super expensive luxury item like Wagyu beef that only the rich can afford. The aliens are basically farming humans the same way we farm animals like cows or chickens. They don't see humans as people with feelings or lives, they see them as livestock. After being captured, the victims are surgically changed so they can't resist or communicate. And then they're fed a lot so their bodies become bigger and more valuable as meat. The whole system is run like a business by this wealthy alien company that Izzy belongs to. So, okay, next. Here we come to All Tomorrows, and here we find the Q, which are one of the most disturbing and powerful alien species in sci-fi. Unlike other alien invaders, they don't just conquer planets or kill people, but they actually change them. When they discovered humanity, or descendants of humanity known as the Star People, they became really angry at how humans have been using genetic engineering. Because of their extreme beliefs, the Q think it's their mission to fix or to correct other life forms. So they invade, easily defeat humanity, and then begin reshaping them into completely new forms. Instead of farming humans for food like in other stories, the Q here did something even stranger. They treated humans like raw material. Using incredibly advanced genetic technology, they transformed people into different creatures depending on what they thought was appropriate. Some humans were turned into simple animals, others into tools, some into horrifying forms that exist only to suffer. For example, the colonials were turned into living waste processing organisms, basically biological machines that filter waste forever. Others, like the hedonists, were turned into harmless, pampered creatures which were kept almost like pets in perfect environments. So if you think about it, this is a kind of farming, but not really for food, instead for function control and for their entertainment. So now we come to number 9, and of course it's Warhammer 40k. See, in the Warhammer 40k series known as the War of the Beasts, there's a really disturbing moment where orcs do something very unusual for them. They farm humans. Normally orcs are all about fighting, chaos and destruction, and they love war for its own sake, and they don't usually bother with systems like agriculture or livestock unless it's farming squigs. That's what makes this scene so shocking. It shows a different, more organized and darker side of them. In this case, the orcs have captured humans and turned them into something like cattle. The humans were kept in terrible conditions, packed together and heavily controlled. They've been physically altered. Things like teeth and fingernails were removed so they can't resist or harm themselves. Some are even drugged with chemicals and growth enhancers to make their bodies develop in specific ways. They're also so mentally conditioned, they're trained like animals, responding to things like light as if it means food or water, like Pavlovian conditioning. What makes this even more unsettling is how out of character it feels for the orcs. They usually don't have the patience or interest in something like this. But during the War of the Beasts, the orcs are far more advanced and coordinated than usual, almost like they have evolved or been led into a high level of intelligence and planning. Like they're part of a massive war that have altered their intelligence or pushed their evolution of thinking into another level. This moment shows that when orcs become organized, they can't just be as terrifying in controlled, calculated ways as they are in battle. Okay, so we end here with the Matrix. While this is not really about aliens like other entries, it's still about an inhuman entity that does the same thing, and it's in a sci-fi setting, and not a fantasy one. In the Matrix and its wider storyline, the machines are powerful, artificial intelligence civilization that ends up taking over the Earth. So the history here, in a nutshell, was like this. Man creates robots, robots attain awareness, man becomes afraid of robot, man and robot go to war, robot wins, man blots out the sun, robots had to find a new energy source. And what the machines do next is one of the most famous human farming ideas in sci-fi. Since they can no longer rely on solar power, the machines decide to use humans themselves as an energy source. They grow humans in massive fields, keeping them inside pods filled with liquid. These humans are kept alive but unconscious in the real world. Their bodies produce heat and bioelectric energy, which the machines use and collect, basically turning people into living batteries. To keep the humans from realizing what's happening, the machines create the Matrix, a virtual reality where human minds live normal lives. Inside the Matrix, everything feels real, but it's all just a simulation. This keeps humans calm and unaware, so they don't resist or wake up. And in a way, it's like a farm where the livestock don't even know they're being farmed. And it's not for food, but it's for energy. Now with that, we end this video on the 10 dark times humans were farmed by aliens and other entities in sci-fi. So do hit the like button for support, and also for the ones holding their phones, you know the drill. Hit the hype option to maybe push this content further. I don't really know how the hype option works, but apparently it does. Subscribe to be a part of Legion Notebook as well, and till the next time, take care, boys.